Hello pilots and ground crew, welcome back to my channel again. Well, camera's a bit shaky because I've got it in my hand because this is just going to be a real quick intro. I got an email and I was asked a few weeks ago actually to do a build video but completely and utterly uncut. Right, which I thought was a bit strange, but the guy had mentioned why he wanted it uncut was because most build videos, including ones that I've done in the past, when you get to a problem, there's a quick jump shot and the problem's fixed. You know what I mean? So he wanted a completely uncut build video. Well, as it happens, I've just finished a build, right? I posted the videos showing you the frame and everything, right? And what it was the GEP RC PX3, the small micro quad, the 3-inch micro quad. Well, I finished that build, right, but what I'd done is, while I actually did the build, sorry, the lights just got me then, I recorded the build, right. It took me about 2.5 weeks to build the quad because I had to stop and start because I had to wait for certain parts and stuff like that. Sun's got me again. As you'll be aware if you actually watched the part 1 and part 2. But anyway, yes, I recorded it and I'm going to post it uncut because that's what the guy wanted, and as he's a subscriber I try to do whatever my subscribers want within reason. So it's a long video, watch it, don't watch it, I don't mind. Alright, will not be offended at a million thumbs down for it dragging on so long. It's just completely uncut, alright, apart from the odd little jump shot, right, which you'll see in the video if you bother to watch it. But I was asked to make it, so I filmed myself putting the quad together, so why the hell not. Okay then, I'm just going to have to turn my position, that's going right my eye. Okay then, pilots and ground crew, thanks for watching and cheers. I'll leave you with a glimpse of something else that's coming up. That's enough. Okay then, enjoy and cheers. Okay then pilots and ground crew, the build. I've already put the 4-in-1 ESC on. I've tinned all the pads. I've covered it in conformal coating, that waterproof coating. Left it overnight, so it's all soaked in. Done exactly the same thing with the flight control board, the F4 flight control board. Tinned the pads that I need, which is them 4 pads there, covered it in conformal coating, left it overnight. And all I've done is soldered on the XT30 and plugged in the ribbon cable, the cable to plug into the flight control board for the 4-in-1. And that's all I've really done, which is all sort of like basic stuff. You didn't need to see me tinning up every single little pad, you'd have got bored. I'll come back to the ESC in a moment. Right, all I'm doing now, because I'm using an F4, right, you can get a little bit of interference, so I'm just going to solder onto my pads here a little capacitor just to help get rid of any noise from the FPV feed. And I haven't even turned on my soldering iron. I'm bloody useless. Luckily it doesn't take long to heat up. So while I'm waiting for that, I suppose I can tell you I've already mounted the camera inside the little frame, which is nothing, it's simple, straightforward, 2 screws. I'm just killing time until my soldering iron heats up. Alright, I might as well mention the flight control board while we're at it. Right, these 4 pins on top here, you've got ground, 5 volts, video in, video out. Reverse that, video out, video in. Right, underneath you do have a JST plug, right, where you'll also get a ground of 5 volt. You get what is it? A port for your GPS if you're gonna switch, if you're gonna connect up GPS. You've also got an R6 and a T6, I believe. And on this side you get a TX1, RX1, TX2, RX2. You get quite a few little bits and pieces spare on this, alright? but I'll just be soldering my camera and my VTX to these 4 little pads here, these 4 little solder joints. I'll have 2 red wires coming off the 5V, 2 black wires coming off the ground, and then the video in and the video out. Simple as that. Right, now that's my soldering iron pumped up, shall we say. Grab the old Mr. Jig that I use for everything. If you haven't seen one of these, Mr. Jig, right, see if you can get one. Hobby King, probably sell them at other places, but a bit of blue tack I've shoved on that at the moment. But you've got all your little holes to stand your little connectors in while you're soldering. You've got a port for your XT60s, XT30s. You can unscrew that, put wires or Dean's connectors if you're still using them. It comes in handy for all sorts of stuff basically. I use it all the bloody time. I don't know what I did without it before I got it, but I've had it a while now. Just tinning up these little bits of cable. Done. Right, now the fiddly bit. I hate this part of the job, trying to hold. Oh, that looks like it might go nice and neat actually. I should have taken this standoff off because it's going to be in my bloody road. I don't know how I'm going to get at it actually, because it's going to be in my road. I'll do it in stages. See if I can. That's got it. Now let's just clean that. Put a nice fresh solder on now. Yeah. A bit more for the other side. This isn't ideal way to do it, but as you can see, it's a bit tight and I'm a bit stuck. Right, let's just see. Yeah, that's alright. That's okay. It's a bit loose, but in all fairness, that nothing's ever going to hit that, no matter which way the quad lands in a crash. Nothing's ever going to touch that capacitor. Alright, ever. Alright, whether it lands on its back, it's never going to get touched, and it's soldered on quite tight, so it's not going to come loose. Alright, in a bumper out. But just to give it a little bit extra protection, we're going to reach down, if I can grab the bloody thing. Where the hell? Get some of this conformal coating. You should wear a mask with this stuff, especially if you've got a bad chest, but I'm only putting a blob on, so it doesn't really matter here. Just to waterproof it. That's all this stuff's doing. Alright, now if you notice, I'm going to put it on like the inside of the brain's gone, capacitor, rubbing it all around the capacitor, and I'm even going to put some around it. Not that you need to, right, but it all helps in case it gets wet. Now let's be honest, if you live in the UK, you're going to be hitting water, so waterproof your stuff. There you go. It all helps. God, that stuff stinks. Zoom out again. Whoa, wrong way. Yeah, bloody good stuff, this conformal coating, right? And waterproofs everything, and it comes in handy for other jobs. If you wonder what that is, that's just an old USB cable I keep handy, so that when I'm putting that stuff on something like that, plug the USB cable in, make sure, because you don't want it going into your pins. And if you've never used it before, I've done a video on it, go look for it, right? Because you never ever want to get it in your pins or anything, or well, you're knackered basically, because it stops electricity from flowing, and in your pins you need electricity flowing. Right, that's that bit done. Let's get this board on now. I'll tell you what, now what, I will solder on the cables first. I'll just move this out the road, let that dry off a little bit. Let that dry off. Yeah, I've got some soldering to do. Right, I can't just solder these straight to the board. I need extensions, which I have already somewhere on the planet put together. Where the hell have I put them? Great, I've lost them. I've got some cables all ready to... oh, they're here. Yeah. There's the black. Signal on the white, we've lost the red. There it is. The red had dropped to the floor. Yeah, because I'll tell you what, I'll zoom right in so you can see this bit. Under here you have got a little JST port where you can plug some cables in, and you have got a ground and a live. But I'm not going to be using it, so I don't want to use that and that. So what I'm going to do is connect like a jumper cable, for want of a better word. You'll see here I've got two red soldered together and two black cables soldered together. Right, and what I'm going to do is solder two black, the ground on here, and two live on there, the 5 volts. Right, and they'll run off to the camera and the VTX. Okay, and on them two pads that are left of it, you've just got your video in and your video out. But I need to get these on here first. Alright, so that's the job I'm going to do now. I'll just zoom way up there, lad. I'll just zoom back out again. Right, now I'll be folding the cables over, so I'll want them that way. But I'll tell you what, first thing I'm going to do is get the red and the black soldered onto... well, actually no, I'll do this job first. We could do that next. Right, ground first, and I'm putting them in that way around so that when I bend them over they're completely out of the road. Now that's a bit bulky, so we'll just cut that down a little bit and give it a bit of a bend just to make life easier. Get some clean solder on that. Want a bit of a blob. Am I still in shot for you? Yeah. Alright. Just going to have to concentrate here because it's tiny. Just check that. Feels good. Don't like the way that little blob goes over there. Just want to move that blob. Oops, yeah, I knew that would happen. There we go. Nice clean silver shiny soldering joint. That's better. Right, now next to it, the red. Just once again, just tilt that over a bit, make it easier. Excuse me. Now I don't want any part of these to touch, right? Because if they do, you get your magic smoke and it goes bang. I'll tell you what, just going to snip a bit of that off as well. a little bit too big. So right, looks nice and clean. Yeah, as I said, you don't have to do it this way. You could just put one black on there, one red on there, and then plug in the other JST and use the black and red on there. But I didn't want loads of cables going everywhere, so I did it this way. Now I need to make sure that they didn't touch. It doesn't look like they touched. In fact, I'd say they didn't, but I need to be 100% sure. So, whoops. The only way to be 100% is to check it with a multimeter on the continuity. Now, I've mentioned multimeters before in my videos. They're a must-have tool. If you're building anything where it's got electric, excuse me, if you're building anything that's got electric, you must have a multimeter. Now I've just put this onto continuity. Now just in case you don't know, what that means is if two things are connected, you'll get a beep like that. For argument's sake, this little wire here, don't know if this will work, it's a bit too, if I do it, but it's one cable, and if I hold on one side, because the electricity, what the continuity does is put a blast of electricity through these pins, right? And if you hold it on something like wood, does not conduct electricity, so like that and like that, nothing happens, right? But metal and stuff like that does conduct electricity, so it's flowing through. So electricity is flowing through that, so like electricity flows through that. So now when we test this board, put the black and the red together, we do not want a beep. If we hear a beep, they're touching somewhere, right? And I made a mess of it. The awkward thing is it's so small and fiddly and I don't want it to wobble about. That's on the black. That's on the red. Absolutely nothing. No beeps at all. So we know now they're not touching, so we won't have any damage out like that. So we're good to go. Now if there had been a beep, I'd have had to unsolder and start again. But you must get yourself a multimeter, because without one I wouldn't have known, and if I'd have plugged this in and they'd have touched, you'd have gone puff, magic smoke, and I'd have been sorry. Right, I've just got two more cables to connect on now, one for my camera and one for my VTX. Right, so I'll just get these on. Just turning the soldering iron up a little bit. Yeah, as I said, I think I mentioned, I've been asked to do a video uncut, as such, as in no big jump shots, and there's always bits that get boring that you want to cut out, so you might not even see this, right? But at the same time, because I've been asked to do the video with uncut, if you know what I mean, I might leave it in. This is for the VTX. I'm gonna get some bloody solder. As I showed you earlier, I did like a loose fitting. Oh, I think I showed you. I think I put it in the video. I did like a loose fitting just to make sure everything works basically before shortening the cables. Because I would have hated to go through all this and then it didn't bloody work. Right, so we've got the cables nice and short now, and they'll basically just go under like that, connect up to the camera, right, and they'll all be hidden away because the VTX will be going on top. So next little job, bring the frame back. Oh, I'll tell you what, excuse me, bad throat today. I might have to cut this and do plug in the ESC. I want this cable underneath. Tell you what, lollipop stick again, just to hold the cable in place. Because don't use anything metal like a screwdriver out like that, or you're going to short out or damage your components. There we go. Alright, little standoffs. I'm using white ones on this build. Don't ask me why, I just decided to. I thought I always use black, this time I'll use white. Because these things are nylon as well, just in case if you've never used them before, which is quite possible. Alright, if you're a new pilot you may not use these before, these little nylon standoffs. As the description says, they're nylon, so they will snap if you over tighten them. You don't need, I'm using a little spanner here, you don't need a spanner, you can do it by hand, because as soon as they get to the point where they pinch, like that, you stop, and you can hand tighten them to that point. But I just use one of these little spanners because got stubby fingers and it makes life a bit easier. As you can see, I can't even get the bloody thing started here. Come on, you bugger. Arrgh. Tell you what. Right, well, something wrong with this one. Don't even want to screw in there. Okay, try a different one. Might just be something wrong with that thread. Strange, that one does not want to screw in. Oh, if it's not one thing, it's another. Oh, that's got stuck. Bloody hell. I think the thread on there has got twisted. Hope not. It does look like it. Just try it with it again. Ah, and that bottom standoff is moving. Surgical procedure here, you know, lads and lasses, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. What you should do at this point is stop, unscrew it and just swap both bloody standoffs, which I'm probably going to have to do. But I'm just trying to see if I can get it in. Oh, have we got success here? Yes. Well, we got it in finally. I'll see if we can get the other one in. You see, like I said, normally I'd cut this out, but I was asked to do an unedited one. I think it's so that if I do come across a problem, if somebody's never built one before, they know what to do. Brute force. Right then, yeah, get yourself some hemostats. They will come in handy for a million things. I've got small ones and I've got larger ones. They'll come in handy for a million things. Started using them with my helicopters, and as the saying goes, I've never looked back. Right, we need the yellow one for the camera. Oops a daisy. Tell you what, that's stripping a bit. Right, that's stripping there, that one I'm putting on for the VTX. The silicone wire is stripping a bit. Now I could just pray and hope, but better safe than sorry. I would rather, yeah, it's stripping down. I doubt you'll see it, but I'm not zooming in to show you one thing. The silicone wire is stripping down, so I'm going to use a different wire. Better safe than sorry. Throw that away. Got a spare bit of stuff here. No, it's a bit too bulky actually, this one. We got any yeah, I'll get confused in a yellow. Tell you what, we'll use a white. Got a bit of white here. Never an easy quick job, these things. There's always something that goes wrong, I'll guarantee it. I'm just stripping the ends of the silicone off so I can tin up the end basically. Put a bit of solder on it. Hot, hot, hot. Alright, take two. That's better. Much better. Tell you what, before I bend that over as well, start soldering stuff up, going to put a bit more of this conformal coating on where I've soldered them wires. The waterproofy stuff. You see, it dries like a hard, well, you can't say glue, but it dries like a rubbery substance, a little bit rubbery, so it also helps to protect your cables. It doesn't just waterproof them, it also helps to protect them. Right, I'm just going to let that dry for a couple of minutes, and then all I'm going to do is solder on my cables for my camera. Alright, and then I'll solder on my cables for my VTX, but I'll come back and show you that. But yeah, all I'm going to do is solder up my camera, but you'll see that in a minute. But I'm just going to let that dry for 10 minutes, alright, half an hour, then I'll come back again. Okay, cheers, fade out, go. Okay then, and we're back. Right, like I said, all I'm going to do now is solder up the camera cable. Just to recap here, we've got two blacks coming off, one for the camera, one for the VTX, two reds coming off for the same camera VTX. You got your white cable we've got here is for out, which would be the VTX, and the yellow is in, which would be in through the camera. Okay, So just going to solder them up now. And I'll tell you what, that red and yellow is looking on the wires, looking a bit bulky. I'm just snipping these down smaller. Don't need to be huge, the solder will do the work for you. Right, let's get a bit of heat shrink. There we go. Alright, I've already tinned the cable, so it's just a case of joining them together. Don't be tempted to put loads and loads of solder on. You only need a blob on, because there's solder on both ends of the wire, don't forget, already. So it's just a case of apply heat, soon as the bite, remove, and done. It's only a little touch. As you see, I'm only holding the soldering iron there for a split second or two. Just enough for it to bite. This one, there. Nearly didn't get that one. Yep. So there's the camera. Right, now before I put the solder on, I've already put the bloody solder on, George. Before I heat shrink that, I just want to plug in a battery, make sure because these cables, some of them, well, the larve, right, and you don't want that touching, but I just want to plug in a battery, make sure everything's working, because at this stage it won't be too difficult to start stripping things down and moving stuff around and everything. But if I start putting the heat shrink on and connecting other stuff up, and it can be a nightmare. But yeah, so at this stage I'm just going to plug in a battery and check everything's working okay before I heat shrink everything. Yeah, we've got lights flashing, blue lights on, everything's doing what it's supposed to do. No bangs, no magic smoke, no now. Which is great. Which, joking apart, if you double check everything as you're going along, that's what should happen. But things do go wrong. Trust me. Trust me, I know, believe me, things do go wrong. Right, heat shrink time. It's a problem with these micro builds. Alright for young people, but when you get a bit older and your eyes start to go, I've got bloody big magnifying. These aren't glasses like normal reading glasses, these are magnifying glasses. Not to mention your fingers get a bit less steady. Right, got it. Right, one advantage. Swap over to my heat gun. Give it a blast. And done. Right, so when I plug, because I put them cables facing backwards, when I plug in the camera I can tuck that right under there, right, with that. and I'll have the VTX on top, so all them cables will vanish. So that's all good news. It's good. Right then. Oh, just in case if you was wondering what that is, don't forget, if someone laughs at that, I do a lot of these for new pilots and they might not realise. All that is, it's an extension cable for the camera. You plug in a little board, right, and you can change the on-screen display on the camera. You can change the camera name and stuff like that, and that's all that cable is, to plug in a little, I've got one kicking about somewhere, I've got a couple kicking about, but you plug in a little board to it and you've got up, down, left, right, and you can change the on-screen display of the actual camera, and that's all that is. A lot of the times I cut these off, I do my settings and then I cut them off, but I thought it's not going to be in the road because the camera's mounted there and there's plenty of space, as you see there under that camera there. I'll just curl this under there and just leave it then. It'll never be seen, right, but it'll always be there for future reference. Right, VTX, I have to get that out of the box. Alright, so I'm just going to do another jump shot while I go get my VTX. Fade in, fade out. Right then, moving on to the VTX now. Gonna connect up the VTX. Now, if you notice, what I've done here is, this is your little GST port where you'd solder on your wires and then plug it straight in. Well, I've unsoldered that, got rid of it. It's just a bit of well, bulky space that takes up, so underneath you've actually got soldering pads, so I prefer to solder it directly. That looks a bit sticky and a bit messy because I've covered it in that conformal coating, first of all, the waterproof stuff, which you've already seen a few times on here already. Right, and all I'm going to do is these spare, well not spare, but these extra wires that we went through, just solder them straight on. You know, when we did the flight control board, of course you do, you remember. Normally I'd cut this out, but like I say, I've been asked to do an uncut version, so why the hell not? Why the hell not? You'll either watch it or you won't watch it. Now I've got one on, I can let that dangle and I can actually hold the other one, so it's a bit easier. It's so bloody tight though, but bloody hell. Oh hell, that's why you want to see an uncut version, so you can see all my bloody mistakes. Look at that mess. It's just touching the signal. I need to take that off. Come on, Mr. Jig. It's got rubber feet on before anyone says you scratch it. Right. So let's just turn that soldering iron a bit higher. Let's just tidy this up again. I've made a bit of a mess there, to say the least. That's better. I don't know if that's a bit of glue or a bloody wire. Bit of glue. Haha. Right. And again. I'll pop that on there. Will that help? No, that's touching the bloody signal again. I know what you're all thinking, you should have left the JST plug on, but I don't usually have this much bloody problems. I always do me, sorry, just cleaning my soldering iron. Tell you the truth, I have got a different tip on to what I usually use, though. This is quite a bulky tip. I usually put my small tip on. But let me just check that cable end again. That's why you've asked for it to be, yeah, or why I got the message asking me to do an uncut version, so you can see all my bloody mistakes, all my problems. Right, a bit of solder. Got it. No, I didn't. Yeah, prat. Did that time. Right, now the white, the signal. I got it in one. Right, just want to check that, because as you all saw, I made quite a few bloody mistakes with that, messing about with it and stuff. Made a pig's ear of it, so just going to check with a multimeter that I haven't touched the ground and the live together with a continuity test. If it beeps, I'll be annoyed. No. Just one more time, double check. No. See, if it had done that, it'd mean the wires were touching, and it'd have been bad. It'd have been bad. Watch one of my previous videos. Right. Oh no, that's all on there now then. Right, now we want them cables forward a little bit. That one's fine. They're gonna get, I'll tell you what, oh no, you can see, they're gonna get pushed. Oh, I should put a bit more conformal coating on there first. I should. So, bloody hell, I might as well while we're here. Oops. Stick a bit more ready, so now I've just done them wires. Just a drop. That'll do. Yeah, I'll do. Let's give it a second. Don't take too long to dry, but just give it a second. So, sing a song, do whatever you want. If you want, you can fast forward, but I'm going to leave it about 30 seconds just to dry off a little bit, that's all. Yeah, that'll about do. I know it's not dry, but it's not going anywhere bad. It's just so it doesn't stick on the wires when I curl them over, that's all. There we go. Put them under there. Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly. Just checking height. But we could get something else in there. But don't need nothing else in there. Right. Yeah, that looks all okay. Just double checking everything before I put the final screws on top, which I'll do now. Then we'll move on to the motors. Little bloody things. Obviously I haven't finished this video yet, goes without saying. What a stupid thing to say, George. Obviously I haven't finished it, I'm still bloody doing it. Yeah, but even though I have been asked to do this uncut, I may cut some bits out, especially bits like this. I mean, nobody needs to see you doing this. Or if now else, I might just speed it up so it just jumps straight through it instantly. Because I can understand in one respect why people want to see a complete uncut build. Fair enough, right? Because like I have, you can come across little problems, right? And if you've never ever built a quad before, seeing a video that's completely and utterly uncut could help. But at the same time, there's little jobs like this. I'm putting little nuts on screws, you know what I mean? I don't think anyone really needs to see this, so I'll probably fast forward it if I remember. Right. Plenty of room in there to put my receiver. Be putting my receiver in there, and then well, then we'll figure out where what's going. You probably already noticed, right, because if I was, I'd have done it by now, that 3D printed mount thing that goes at the back. Right, I said I don't like them the way the antennas go, right, so I've left that out completely, right, because I'll be mounting the antennas sort of like that way, if you know what I mean. You'll see. Alright, but yeah, so she's starting to look like somewhat. So let's now connect the camera up, screw the camera in. Alright, because well, actually I suppose I can put the motors on now. That would be, yeah, I'll do the motors now. Camera can go last. Motors are over there, right. in the other side of the corner, so I'll be back in 2. Okay then. Right, if you watched part 1 about this video, well, not part 1 about this video, but I did a part 1 about showing you this frame, this GEP RC frame, and then I made a part 2 about showing you all the components. And then, like I said, while I was putting it together, as in now, I filmed it because somebody asked for an uncut version of a build. But if you've just come across this video, I'd go and watch part 1 and part 2 of this particular frame, because quite a lot of fun things happened to do with these motors. Alright, it was hellgate to say the least. Alright, so I'm not saying how else, just go watch the other part of the video. But if you're interested here, they're the GEP RC motors, 1206 4500 kV. In the packet you get your prop nuts, which is brilliant. You also get nuts for 3mm thick frames and nuts for 2mm thick frames. They give you everything, GEP RC. Right, and since this is a 3mm thick frame, we want that middle section. We will need the prop nuts, but not just yet, so I'll tell you what, leave that in the box over there for now. Right, I know I said I'm not going to do jump shots, but I'll put one motor on and then I'm definitely just doing a jump shot to putting the rest on, because that is really pointless showing you putting on all 4 bloody motors. Right, just going to take that off camera so I can see where that screw is to make sure it's not touching. No, looking good. Just loosening it a little bit so I can line the bloody holes up now. Yeah, these motors, 2-inch size props, 3-inch size props, and from 2 to 4 cell motors. Now these will need Loctite. I Loctite all my motors, and not being funny, you should too. But when I first put them on, I just tighten them up as sort of like, well, not loose, but just a rough tightness, just in case once I've completely finished I have to take it all off for some strange reason. Right, but no, so that's one on, and like I said, I'm definitely doing a jump shot because you don't want to see me screw in 4 more motors. So I'll be back in a minute or 2. And we're back again. Right, she's actually starting to look like a quad now. All I'm going to do now is solder up these motors to the 4-in-1. I'll show you one and then I'll probably jump shot again, which I know I was asked not to, but you don't need to see me solder up all 4 motors. And if I don't do a jump shot, I'll just bloody fast forward one or the other. So I might as well just do a jump shot. Just for new pilots this is. Don't just cut your wires, make sure you bloody measure where they're going, because it's easy to cut more but it's bloody difficult to add. so don't cut them too bloody short. Like that. That's fine, but I know it's a little bit too long still. So I'm just going to take that touch off. Pull the end off, double check. I could even shorten that a bit more, but don't need to, that's long enough for the first one. I'm just soldering these on one at a time in line, and any alterations to the motors that might need doing I'll just do in BL Heli. But because you can criss and cross your motor wires and stuff, but not going to get confusing. Yep, that's okay. A bit of drop off. And last. Bit more. Right. Just tin them wires up. And stick them on. I'm not going to be able to do this in shot, so I apologise in advance. But I'll show you when I've done. It'll help if you put some bloody solder on your end, George. One. Two. Three. Right, there you go. All I'll do with them is just put some tape or something around. Right, I'm going to do the other four now. You really don't need to see it. Right, okay, jump cut. Okay, then I've got all the motors soldered up now. Now, I was going to put, I mentioned this full speed buzzer. I wanted to put this in here. Well, unfortunately, it's too big. Even though this thing is tiny, it's still too big for this build. I even tried the little, oh, what is it? I can't remember the bloody name of this one. I honestly cannot. Oh, Hellgate. Sorry, the original one. The Hellgate, which is roughly the same size in that dimension, but on the sides it's a lot thinner. But even this one won't fit. It is quite tight in there. So what I've done is I've just got a buzzer, wired it up and plugged it in. Alright, I'd already done that off shot. Alright, but it's as simple as he reaches for his box, hang on. It's as simple as you get like a packet of these little buzzers, cheap as chips they are, and all you do is, well, something like that actually, just so, I could have used that one rather than making a new one, just solder red and black to it, and make sure you've got the right JST, the little plug to go into where your buzzer goes. And that's all I've done. It's more of an, nowadays anyhow, it's more of an old-fashioned way, because everyone's getting these ones with the battery safes, the little buzzers on, so that if your main battery gets ejected, the buzzer rings off. But we never used to do it that way, so I can't do it that way on this one, so it's no big deal. Plus, with this being a tiny quad, it's not as if I'm going to be going long range or out like that, so I'll always have a rough idea of where it's gone down, and if not, I can always double check on the DVR to walk straight to it. Right then, I'll tell you what, now I've got the VTX wired in, before I do anything else, I'm going to stick in the antenna just in case I power this up, right? Because you never ever want to power up a VTX without an FPV antenna connected to it, right? Or you can knacker the board. Alright. I've decided to go with the I keep saying Flint, but this isn't the Flint. It's the FLI 14 Plus. You get about 500 meter range with it, right? It's a bloody good little antenna, right? I need to band it and everything. I'm not going to show you that because all receivers are roughly the same. You press a button and plug it in, right? But it'll need banding, and I'm just going to stick it on there basically, run the cable round, stick it on, and it'll be out of the road, right? I've already put a little bit of sticky stuff on there, but to tell you the truth, it's not very sticky, so I'm going to put another piece on, a better piece. Reach to the back. Tell you what, doing this bloody video uncut, right, even though I've cut a little bit, right, this is probably a complete waste of time because no one's going to watch it apart from one person who asked me to do it, but still, I don't mind. Right, somebody asked for some help and I'm quite happy to give them that help. So stick that on there. All I'm doing there is, I'll just zoom out for you. Just a bit of double-sided sticky tape, that's all. Not impressive, not special, just some M3 double-sided tape. Stick that down. Not worrying about tidying it up because you're never going to see this stuff because it's all going to be buried with the lid, the lid, with the top plate on. I was going to say lid then. Right, just plonk that there. I'll just sit there fine, no problem, and I'll run that around. Plug this in. Sorry, I just have to come off shot maybe just so I can see what I'm bloody doing. Plug that in. Never use a metal screwdriver or anything for plugging these GSTs in. It's one way to knacker them. Get yourself a lollipop stick. I use the bloody thing for loads of stuff. Right, so there's my receiver. Well, there's everything really. Just have to connect it all up, so to speak. So we'll start with just plugging in this camera and then start screwing some stuff on and getting it in. Got that the wrong way around. I've kept this shot. There's plenty of wire under here I could pull out if I wanted, but I don't want it all piling up, so I've kept it as short as I can. I can actually lollipop stick again. There you go. Right, get that cable up for now. There's one in the little slot. Come on, there's another little slot there, that's that in. All I'm doing here is make it, there you go, that cable for the camera just went in all the way, I just noticed. Right, screw time. Just a little screw onto the aluminium. Think about that one. Another one on the other side. Remember, when you're screwing into aluminium, you're going to be tempted to tighten up like a madman, right? Because you'll feel it tightening, you'll feel a point where it gets tight, and that's the point when you stop, right? like there, I know I could keep tightening that, but because it's aluminium, right, it will thread, and then you'll be sorry. Right, don't know what I'm gonna do with this bit. I'm gonna need it because I need to alter my camera. I'll tell you what, I'll have it coming out that side there. Just move that round. Tell you what, take that antenna off a minute. Get the old secateurs out. Secateurs? The bloody hemostats, George. Secateurs? You're not gardening. Alright, you see I can just push that in and get it out the road later on. Alright, bury them cables there. Like there. Need to make sure that goes flush, which it looks like it just goes flush. May have to do a bit of wiggling about, but yeah, that just fits on there nice. So hopefully that will just hold that down there. How can I get at the band button? No, bugger! Can't get at the bleeding band button. Let me just check that's not gonna... No, you see that's gonna fit just right. You see better that way, but that's gonna fit just spot on. Alright, but unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to get at the band button, or am I? No, it's right in that corner. So I'm gonna have to band this up to my transmitter first. Right, so all I'm gonna do is band it to my transmitter, right, screw that on, right, a couple of little screws, right, and we're basically finished then. Right, in fact I can't think of anything else I can show you. I mean, these antennas, right, I'm still not 100% what I'm going to do with them, but I'll probably run them that way. Right, this I'm going to bend up a little bit, right, and on this little groove here I'm just going to run a cable tie, right, just to keep it in that position. Not tight, right, don't need it tight, just enough to hold it in that position there. Right, you see what I mean when I'm done. Right, I may just leave it, I mean you don't have to. If I straighten the bloody thing it can never hit the props because it's straight. But yeah, so I'm not 100% what I'm going to do with that. So I'll go band this to my radio, right. I still need to put some tape or something around these wires coming off the motors. I haven't done that yet. Right, but that's an easy job, wrapping a bit of tape around. So yeah, all I'll go now is bind this to my transmitter, and it will be my Energy Evolution. I love that little thing, I do, I love it. I may upgrade to the old Batman, or should we say the Dark Knight, but I still like the little Energy Evolution. It's a great little transmitter for what I use. No good for my planes and stuff. I use Futaba transmitter for my planes. Alright, but just for flying my quads about. But yeah, so that's basically it. So the next bit, when I come back, it'll just be, there it is finished, and I'll have the props on and just show you it. Because all I have to do is put a bit of tape around and band that, and that's it. So I'll be back in a second. Well, for me, for you, maybe a day. Actually reverse that, you know what I mean. Well, there you go then, that's the end of the build. Right, the uncut build, if anybody bothers to watch the full bloody thing. But yeah, I've done a few things different. Like I said, it had an antenna mount that come out there. I didn't like that. I put the antennas running that away so that no matter which way it crashes, it can't hit the antennas, if you know what I mean. So the antennas are protected. Put the props on. When I mentioned that full speed little buzzer that I said I couldn't get in, well, I've got it in. Right, if I zoom in and show you, just behind there, it's just in there, tucked away. Got it just tucked in behind the camera. It was awkward, but it fit. and as long as it fit, wrong way lad, as long as it fit, that's the main thing. But yeah, so I've got everything on now, just ready for a flight. But that's the end of the build. This antenna, right, I'm actually gonna colour it black, right, and as you can see, that's the theme that's going along. I've got all black heat shrink, all black tape and stuff, but could have done different colours, but that's just the way I've done it. But yeah, so there you go then, buddy. You wanted unedited video, build video. I have no idea why, and I doubt very much many people will watch it, but there it is, and there you go. So if you watch the whole thing, oh my god, you are amazing, right? Because I know this is going to drag on for a long time. But so thank you for watching, and anyway, if you liked, go on, subscribe. Okay then, pilots and ground crew, if you stuck to the end, thanks a lot, and cheers.